Okay, so I think we'll get started. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the White and Case Jessup Career Panel. My name is Elizabeth Black, and I'm the Global Head of Pro Bono and Responsible Business at White and Case. So on behalf of the firm, I would like to thank you all so much for joining today and commend you for participating in the Jessup competition this year. We are so happy to have so many Jessup competitors joining us today. At last count, we had 110 students from nearly 50 countries with us. So before I talk a little bit about today's program and introduce my colleagues, I wanted to share a bit about my Jessup journey and the firm's relationship with the competition. Before coming to White and Case, I was actually the executive director of the International Law Students Association. So I am one of Michael Pyle's predecessors. This just means I've been involved with the Jessup for many more years than I can count or care to admit at this point. But the Jessup actually brought me to White and Case. After stepping down as executive director, I came back for several years as a volunteer. And because of this experience, I was first hired by the firm to manage and coordinate the firm's global Jessup activities. And you can imagine my delight. First, that a firm like White and Case would have so many Jessup activities that needed managing. And second, that I was the one lucky enough to manage them. So though my responsibilities have really expanded since then, the Jessup remains the project nearest and dearest to my heart. So now a little bit about the firm and our relationship with the Jessup. So as I'm sure you know, White and Case is a global law firm. We have lawyers in 45 offices in 30 countries. We were among the first US-based law firms to establish a truly global presence. And we provide counsel and representation in virtually every area of the law that affects cross-border business. You'll hear more about the inner workings of what we do from our lawyers in the breakout rooms. This year marks the 19th year of White and Case's global partnership of the Jessup. More than 200 of our lawyers and staff support the Jessup every year by judging oral rounds, grading memorials, administering competitions, producing the Jessup graphics that you see in the posters, program, and social media throughout the year. This year, we also sponsored 21 national and regional competitions around the world, from the UK to Japan, Canada to Brazil, and many places in between. This is made possible by the many Jessup alumni that we have, including the chair of our firm, Heather McDevitt, that we have in nearly all of our offices around the world. And I'm pleased to be joined by a few of our wonderful lawyers, all of whom are Jessup alumni as well. They're here to talk to you about their careers and how Jessup played a role. So today, each one of our lawyers will speak for a few minutes, and once this has concluded, we will all be directed to different breakout rooms to make it easier to speak with all of you. We have other White and Case lawyers who are also Jessup alums joining each breakout room. So you'll see the breakout room options with the lawyer names in the bottom right side of your screen. This event is really about getting to know you and enabling you to get to know us. So we really want to hear from you. I encourage you to ask lots of questions, move around to different rooms. You can ask questions in the chat or raise a virtual hand, or even if it's a small group, just speak up. At 5 minutes to the hour, we will all be moved back into the main room for some closing remarks. So with that, I will turn it over to Aleksandra to start us off.
Thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Aleksandra Oziemska. I am a litigation partner at White and Case in Warsaw. And in the 4 or 5 minutes that I have, I would like to speak to you about three things Jessup. First of all, Jessup and myself. So it has really been a long, long time that I did the Jessup. And yesterday at the Warsaw office, we had a little gathering for the Polish national team that will be going to Washington. And I was actually thinking how amazing it is that, we older lawyers tend to sometimes complain about the youth of today and, that our associates may not be like we used to be. However, there is this funny competition that still attracts so many people, and the formula hasn't really changed, and it's still attractive. And there must be definitely something magical about it that it really goes on and just attracts people to and makes people put in so much work every year. So this is absolutely fantastic, and for me, Jessup was really an ideal platform to combine what I thought I really liked and wanted to do when finishing university, which means public international law and litigation. As you can see, litigation is the one that survived. I had to drop public international law somewhere on the way, but what Jessup did give me was definitely the possibility to then do an internship at the Khmer Rouge Tribunal in Cambodia when I really felt like what I sort of learned and experienced through Jessup, I was really able to then use in practice while working at the tribunal. So I think Jessup is a perfect platform to then build your career from there. As far as our DC experience is concerned, well, we were not the most successful, unfortunately. But what I usually tell people that there was an upside to this, which is that while the other teams were studying and looking through memorials and going through their speeches for the next rounds, we could enjoy DC. We could enjoy meeting new people, and basically, I just ended up really having friends for life from the Jessup experience. I'm really still in touch with people I met 20 years ago in DC. So I wish everyone all the best for those who are going to DC. But if you don't make it, there's still really a lot to be gained from that experience. And finally, I think this really goes for everyone at White and Case. When we see you applying to do an internship or work at White and Case, if we see that you did Jessup, it's probably not official, and I probably shouldn't be saying it, but like we do give you like 10 points plus 10 points on any interview, just because we know you are hardworking. We know you have advocacy skills. We know you know drafting. We know you are not afraid of taking on new challenges and happy to have new experiences and to work internationally. So basically, just do all these things that are really indispensable when you start your career at White and Case. So I commend you all for putting in the work, and for those who are going to DC, good luck. For those who this year didn't make it, I hope you will keep trying because it's definitely worth it. And I look forward to speaking to you in the breakout rooms. And off to Fraser now. Thank you.
Thanks, Aleksandra. Hi, everyone. I'm Fraser Galloway. I'm a private equity partner in our Abu Dhabi office. I've been based in the Middle East since 2017, and I've worked for White & Case since 2020. I act on mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures, etc., for a variety of corporates and financial sponsors, and particularly in the Middle East for sovereign wealth funds. I first participated in the Jessup back in 2011 at law school, and I'd studied public international law at university and had an interest in it. And I have to say, it's an incredible competition. It was my first real introduction to White & Case as well. And as you can tell, the firm has made a long-term commitment to the Jessup, which I think really represents White & Case's commitment to both the rule of law and also to international legal practice. I truly believe we're one of the world's most international law firms, and the Jessup and our participation and sponsorship of the Jessup really fits with the culture of White & Case of going into a huge variety of markets, being a global law firm, and really promoting the rule of law in a lot of different contexts and allowing people who work for the firm to experience it. Often you'll find White & Case lawyers have practiced in several different offices of the firm, have moved around and stayed with White & Case through that. More recently, I was a coach for the Afghan women's team that participated in this year's Jessup, and I've also been a judge, for the UAE national round in Abu Dhabi, which was a very interesting day where we had a whole bunch of different participants from a variety of different backgrounds being in the UAE, and it was really impressive to see everyone's huge amount of work that they put into the Jessup. As I recall from participating myself, it is a phenomenal amount of work. I think it's really worthwhile for the reasons Aleksandra said. It's about teamwork. It's about commitment, going over and above your other commitments to studying, etc. And certainly, I would agree that it's looked upon very favorably, not just by White and Case, I'm sure, but from similar firms as well, who understand the sort of dedication that goes into participating in the Jessup. In terms of the Jessup today and my interest in it, really it's a way for me to stay in touch with what's happening in public international law, to remind myself of why I first got involved in law. Clearly, as a corporate lawyer, I'm perhaps unusual in this group in that it's not part of my day-to-day practice generally. Although some of the issues that came up, for example, in this year's scenario around sovereign immunity, etc., are still relevant to practice. And it's good to keep in touch with what's happening. And given that I practice in the Middle East as well, we cannot be completely siloed from what's going on more broadly in international law around us. So it's still relevant to what I do to varying degrees. I think it's a phenomenally worthwhile competition and does stand you in good stead for a practice in international law with most major law firms. So feel free to ask me anything in terms of my participation in the Jessup or my career at the moment, or White and Case generally. And I look forward to speaking to you in the breakout rooms. I'll hand over to Madeline. Sorry, I've forgotten who's following me.
Hi, Fraser. That would be me, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. Sorry.
Hi. No problem. Thank you so much, Fraser. And welcome to everyone who's joining from around the globe. Let me start maybe by introducing myself. I am Rebecca Major. I'm a senior associate at White and Case's London office. I've been at the firm for over a decade now. My practice area is international arbitration. I have a specialism in construction and engineering disputes, including things like oil and gas, nuclear energy, hydropower, airports, roads, and the like. I have a particular focus on FIDIC contracts, which are the preeminent standard form contracts for construction projects globally. So I still have quite a global practice, if you like. What is my background in Jessup? Well, I participated in Jessup in 2007, which is, nearly 20 years ago, so quite a long time ago. I've maintained my links with Jessup over that time period, and I sit now on the UK committee and support the UK rounds, the national rounds. I think Jessup gave me quite important insights for my career. And I think really the two sort of key things for me, first was the advocacy, the ability to get exposure to different forms of advocacy that were all equally powerful. Seeing people coming from civil law jurisdictions and common law jurisdictions, and everyone having different ways of approaching essentially facts which are moot, but having skills that were persuasive and powerful to convince your tribunal to find in your favor. I always found that very fascinating. As a team, when I participated, we didn't get to Washington, but what I gained from that was seeing other teams and watching them and how they were able to progress, and the kind of techniques that they were using. And in a sense, I sort of pinched them and have used them and developed those throughout my career now. And obviously I'm doing advocacy in my career now, and those skills have developed since then, but it was nonetheless incredibly helpful and powerful having done the Jessup and seeing that. The other aspect was the international approach of Jessup, seeing that disputes didn't have to be decided on a domestic level. And I think that was always something that was very attractive to me. And I realized I could have a career doing that, having a career where things were not necessarily strictly governed by a domestic legal system, that there were other instruments at play. And I think it really opened up that doorway for me. And I obviously work now in international commercial disputes. And so there's that element there in my job too. What else? Well, I wish you a fantastic time, just anybody who's going to Washington and anybody who's not, fantastic job already getting to that point, because I know many people had to prepare for the Jessup, both memorials and advocacy, alongside perhaps studies as well, which is quite challenging. I can remember that, trying to do my degree at the same time as trying to do the Jessup. And as others have said on the call, we as White and Case lawyers, we appreciate that. We know that that's difficult. So you definitely get some points there when applying for roles and jobs at the firm. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Camila, and I look forward to talking to you in the breakout.
Thanks, Rebecca. Hi, everyone. My name's Camila Zuniga Navarro, and I am a senior associate in the antitrust team in Australia. I first participated in Jessup in 2017, so quite recently, I'd like to think. And since then, I have judged every year, and since joining White and Case 2 years ago, I have coached the Indonesian teams, and have also judged in our national rounds this year, which is the first year that White and Case has sponsored the Australian rounds in a little while. So it was an honour. Like Rebecca, my Jessup journey did not end in DC, but it has truly shaped the way that my career has progressed. I'm in antitrust now, but I began as a disputes lawyer after Jessup, and the advocacy skills that I obtained and the ability to work in a team and craft an argument were shaped by my experience. And since then, I have taken all those lessons into my career at White and Case. And every year I try and do a public international law pro bono matter, which are they're really available here, and it keeps me in touch with public international law and all the learnings that I have. And while antitrust might seem like it's a very domestically focused practice, the White and Case team is a global team. The skills that I learnt in Jessup to think globally, to act locally, have really been integrated into my day-to-day work, and in the way that we work in the Sydney antitrust team, which I think has just highlighted how important Jessup can be for learning and for growth as a young lawyer. I really hope that everyone has a wonderful experience in the competition. It doesn't really matter how far you go. It is about the networks that you make, the experiences that you have, the learnings that you can take forward. Those are the things that I have found matter the most out of the Jessup experience. You will forget the fact that you worked for many, many months, for many, many hours of every single day, and instead you will take those relationships forward. And I truly hope that this experience is the best university experience that all of you can have. And please feel free to ask me as many questions as you'd like about the Jessup and about my career at White and Case. And on that note, I will turn over to Thomas.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Just made it. My name is Thomas Pate. I'm a partner in New York. I'm a project development and finance lawyer. So I work primarily on energy and infrastructure projects, and primarily cross-border. I don't do very much in the U.S. So I, as it relates to the Jessup, I participated in I think it was 2024, and I think we made it to the semifinals in DC. So obviously great experience. I've judged since then a few times, less so in the last few years. But, look, really what drew me to Jessup and keeps me interested in Jessup is, I always viewed myself as a very international person. And what do I mean by that? I grew up in Latin America. My parents were from various countries around the world, and my grandparents from other countries. So I, always had a very international background, went to an international school. as I was growing up. So always, curious and being surrounded by people from around the world, being in a diverse community. I always found that to be the most rewarding. So Jessup, obviously was what intrigued me from day one, right? I mean, the idea that you could think globally, think about international affairs, and those things were always top of mind for me, right? And then the same translates into work now. I mean, I work cross border almost exclusively. Talk to people throughout the White and Case network, for example, daily, right? So I'll talk to somebody in Seoul, or I'll talk to somebody in Tokyo, or somebody in Europe. I mean, almost every week, right, or daily. So that's rewarding, and I think I translate those skills, that I learned in Jessup about just having a global mindset. I think I implement that almost every day. And then as to Jessup, I mean, obviously it teaches you problem solving skills, advocacy, public speaking. I not to toot my own horn, I'm probably not doing a very good job now, but I think I'm a fairly good public speaker, in large part because of Jessup, right? I mean, so I did Jessup and a few other things that involve public speaking, but that obviously really hones your skills. Practice makes perfect, and doing it in a setting of pressure of an audience, etc. Obviously, makes you better. Jessup obviously also makes you think critically. There's no solution, no right answer, obviously, to the Jessup questions, but it does force you to come up with the best arguments for the position you've been assigned. And those skills are always useful, regardless of what you do, right? So look, obviously, great experience. I think it translates really well into the real world, especially if you want a career that has a global twist to it. And I think that's, ever important. I mean, the reality is, I think all of us are thinking globally more. What happens in one part of the world affects you regardless of where you are. So I think those skills are important, translate well. And yeah, also same, available to chat offline. Thank you.
Just a huge thank you to all of the students who were able to join us. Thank you so much to all of our lawyers. I hope you students enjoyed getting to know a few of our lawyers. I know that we really enjoyed speaking with all of you. For more information on working at White and Case, I wanted to let you know about a few resources. Information on our career site for all regions. It can be found on our career page at whitecase.com/careers. Then to learn more about the firm from more of our people, go to inside.whitecase.com. Finally, in some parts of the world, we actually have virtual learning programs. This is a really great opportunity to learn more about life as a White and Case associate by working on different fast-paced, innovative projects. So these programs are free and a great way to expand your skills and knowledge. You can find these opportunities on our US and UK career sites. So to close, I encourage all of you to make the most of your Jessup experience. The Jessup really is not just a competition, it's a community, and it's made stronger by your participation. So stay in touch with your teammates and everyone you've met through the Jessup. It's really important to remain engaged and connected to one another. Thank you again for joining today, and I wish you all the best.